Slamdown is sponsored by WWE Smack Talks, Impact Fan Nation, and Zombie Generation. Welcome to another live episode of Slamdown Livestream. Today we're going to be covering everything about the WWE pay-per-view Great Balls of Fire. Now, I've got to admit, it's probably not the best pay-per-view name, Great Balls of Fire, but yeah, that's all I can really say on that. But the pay-per-view itself was impressive. Normally I'm quite meh about WWE pay-per-views, but this time round it's been a lot better. It was a good stacked card. There were surprises, there was oh my god moments which we haven't seen from a WWE pay-per-view in a long time. You know, the crowd reaction was a lot better. I still think some of the storylines are iffy at best, but it's a lot better than what we've had. Still don't believe it's going to top Slammiversary. It didn't, you know, I'm sorry, but it really didn't. But I think that there was definitely improvements, and I feel these improvements are coming because of what the GFW Impact is doing. I think the WWE is starting to realise now that their competition, well, I know people won't say they're not competition, but in my eyes I'm counting it as competition. Because the competition is better than what it was and it's building. I think that's another reason why the WWE are more focused of making sure they're putting on better shows, so they don't lose the viewers to their rivals. You know, and I think this is what the WWE is doing. But overall, Great Balls of Fire, I'll give it. The kickoff match was predictable. I do agree with Austin Aries that the Cruiserweights are vanilla. It's very meh and very bland, very boring, very just awful. But we knew Neville was going to get the victory. You know, especially being a kickoff show, I would have been surprised if Neville dropped that on a kickoff show. I wouldn't have agreed with it. If I'm honest, I would have thought it would have been disrespectful and, you know, it feels like a division they don't care about. And that's what I get from the Cruiserweights, that they just don't care. You know, there's so many of them guys that are used incorrectly, and you know, you've got a great talent in Noam Dar, great talent in TJP. I can't stand calling him TJP. I'm going to say who he is. TJ Perkins, who is a brilliant wrestler, and even him is being used badly. You know, we had Kendrick on our screens for such a long time, and then he suddenly fades off, and it's like, right, okay. It's just what you're doing. But it is a pre-show, so it is just a filler, and it felt like it. There was no enjoyment to the pre-show match. They kicked off. Oh, actually, I did get my prediction right as well. I did say Neville. I think I've got every single prediction right for once. No, I did get one wrong. But that's still better than what I've done in the past. Bray Wyatt got the victory over Seth Rollins. And I like the way they did this as well. With Bray Wyatt managing to poke the eyes and get the victory that way. So it still plays within Bray Wyatt playing a heel. It fitted in perfectly. I'm trying to think, is there any really critiques I can give to the match? And there really isn't. It was just a good, solid match. It was a good kick-off. I can't fault it. I'm starting to hate myself. I'm starting to hate myself. I can't fault it. God damn it. Because I really can't fault it. It was just a good, solid match. Big show. God's sake. Big Kaz taking on Enzo Amore. Now, the way they've done the storyline to this has been brilliant. The promos Enzo has cut have been brilliant. He backs up what he says. He is a brilliant talker. Always has been. Always has been. He's got that chemistry. It's just a shame his wrestling ability isn't up to that standard. But then what do you do with Enzo Amore? Where can you put him? You can't put him in the cruiserweights. He's not good enough for that. You could put him as a manager or someone's talking piece, but then you lose the dancing around. It's a struggle. Big Kaz, you know what they can do with him and the way they can use him, but Enzo, you can't put him in another tag team because you've just broken that tag team up. Really don't know what they can do with him. And that's going to be an issue going forward, is what you do with Enzo Amore. Normally I can predict or work out what way they're going to go with Enzo, but I can't. I really have no idea what direction and what way they're going to go with this. Because you can't drop Enzo down on the card because you don't want to lose his talking ability. You don't want to lose that. But then his matches are not going to be great matches. So you're in a bit of a catch-22 when it comes to Enzo Amore. I personally think they shouldn't have brought this tag team up. But we know Vince likes his big, muscular guys. We've seen it with Braun Strowman, him pulled out the Wyatt family. We've seen it with Roman Reigns. And there is something else that pissed me off, but we'll get that later in the show when we get to talk about the main event. But yeah, it's weird with Enzo because you could stick him in the cruiserweights, but then with guys in the cruiserweights who can put on amazing matches, it feels like a smack in the face to them. That's the issue you're going to have, but we'll just have to wait and see. Cesaro and Sheamus taking on the Hardy Boys. I wasn't looking forward to this match. I thought this match was going to be, alright, here we go. Same again. Same shit, different day. I thought it was going to be lackluster. I thought it was going to be boring. I thought it was going to be awful. That's what I thought it was going to be because it's been overplayed. And now I'm going to make an apology. I was wrong. I was so wrong. It was an amazing matchup. Absolutely amazing. Both of the teams brought it on this match. But the problem is, do we see the Hardys break up? And when does Cesaro and Sheamus lose the tag team titles? Because we know Sheamus is going to film a movie. So they've got to pull him out at some point. Now, I originally thought it was going to be the Hardy was going to win this. Sheamus is going to be written off, and they'd do some kind of singles run with Cesaro for a little while. That's the way I thought they were going to go with this. But they didn't. Which was kind of surprising. I've seen someone said that about putting Enzo on SmackDown to replace Ellsworth. I disagree. Carmella has even... Because Carmella plays the bad guy. You can't really put a face with a heel. Because Carmella is a heel, Enzo Amore is a face. It wouldn't work. Just wouldn't work. But anyway, back to the Hardy match. It gobsmacked me on how good this match was. I was gripped by it. But I do believe we're going to see the Hardy split. I think that is the next move. That they're going to break up the Hardys and they're going to do a single run for Jeff going for the main title and the Matt just jobbing about. Unless they sort of rework the broken gimmick and sort of can get around the copyright. That's the only other way I can see them going with that gimmick to try and get Matt over. Because without that gimmick, Matt's just Matt. You know, you could make him Money Matt, which, to be honest, was alright. Nothing spectacular. But the fans are calling for the broken gimmick. That's what the fans want, and the WWE needs to sort of go in that way, because I believe the WWE would sell a lot more merchandise and stuff like that if they had went for the broken way. But the problem is, if they want that broken gimmick, they're going to have to work a deal with Impact Wrestling. That's the only way they can go around it. I can't think of any other way. And I know people have got out there that go, oh, they should just let Matt do it. I'm sorry, the WWE wouldn't let someone go to Impact Wrestling and use their current theme. It's just, stop it. Stop it. Impact own the gimmick, end of. But the WWE have got to find a way around so Matt can play that kind of gimmick. I think that's the only way you can go around this. I can't see any other avenue. But that was my wrong prediction. I said the Hardy was going to win this because of Sheamus filming, but I was wrong. We had Sasha Banks taking on Alexa Bliss. Now, I quite like this match. Now, I know the match didn't end in a victory. I'd rather it ended in a victory because the match was really good and it kept me gripped and they both put on a brilliant show. The things that let it down was the way it ended. I don't think they needed to go for the DQ route. Sorry, DQ route? Count out route. I don't think they needed to go that way with it. They did, and I don't think it was the best idea. I really don't. You know, I'd rather seen Alexa Bliss manage to get the victory in this. But then again, if she got the victory, what about that? So it is a bit catch-22. We had The Miz taking on Dean Ambrose. Now, this was another amazing match. I knew The Miz was going to win this, and I did say I don't think this would be a great match because we've seen it all before. But I was impressed by this match. I don't want to see these two go again. I want that to be the end. I don't want to see them battle anymore. Leave it at that. You know, have The Miz face someone new. Stop repeating the same old stuff. It gets boring and repetitive. We want to see something different. And I'm hoping we do. Like I said, I think it's the route they need to go with doing something new, something different with The Miz now. Because you only can go to a certain point where repeating yourself doesn't work. Repeating matches, it's just, we've seen it all before. Give us something new now. Same with the Hardys and Cesaro Sheamus. It's done now. It needs to end, and then people need to move on to other stuff, because otherwise it's going to lose what makes it special. It's just going to end up being a boring, repetitive mess. You know, one thing that surprised me is Finn Balor not being on this card at all or involved in any way. It would have been better if they had him involved in at least a match. I think it was a bad move on the WWE's part not having him at all on the card. But it feels again like they don't know what to do with Finn Balor. And it's the same situation with Dean Ambrose, with what happened with Austin Aries. They stuck him in the situation, they labelled him as a cruiserweight, left him as a cruiserweight, and that was it, and he ended up leaving. If they're going to use Finn Balor badly, he's the type of person that probably would end up leaving. And like I said, a lot of the problems come down to Vince McMahon and the writers. It's always been WWE's problem. And it's one thing I've always said, and you know, I'll come on here, I'm honest with you, I'll tell you how it is, and I do think the WWE is overcrowded. I think there's too many wrestlers on their books. You know, they've tried to do this brand split, it hasn't worked. There's still being people that's been used incorrectly. I really hate being so cynical, but it is the truth. It's what it is. You can either admit it, accept it, or you can just bitch about it and cry about it. You just got to accept it and go, right, this is the state of WWE's in. You know, this is what I'm hoping with its rivals. I hope they keep improving, their ratings keep going up, because then that way they can rival the WWE, and when WWE's got a rival, we notice that WWE puts on a better product, and that's what I'm hoping, and I'm hoping it's going that way. I really do. You know, I do enjoy the WWE, but Jesus, come on now, it's getting ridiculous with what they're doing. Anyway, The Miz got the victory thanks to BODYSLAM's interference, so Miz is still champion. Braun Strowman taking on Roman Reigns. Wow. Just wow. And no one wants to see old Hulk Hogan as Universe Champion. He's too old. He's good for an appearance here and there, but he is too old. And Dean Ambrose has been champion for a long time, and that's why they've passed it on to The Miz, but they need to put Miz against someone else as Dean Ambrose all the time. But anyway, back to this. Braun Strowman against Roman Reigns. What a match. What a match. And the WWE did things that even surprised me. But one thing, especially with when Roman Reigns crashed the back of the ambulance into a truck, and the commentary team said, we've never seen anything like this before. That's a lie. That is a bare-faced lie. Because come on. Has the commentators forgotten the last time that happened? Let me refresh you. NWO 2002. The Rock was stuck inside an ambulance. Hulk Hogan drove a truck straight into the ambulance. That's when the first time that happened. Yes, this was done slightly different, but it's not the only time we've seen it, Cole. That's the only thing that annoyed me, is the way they blasé over the past. And it wasn't like it was a WCW thing that WCW did. It was on WWE. I think it was Raw it was on when that happened. Because they made it into such a big thing. Again, it's why the WWE annoys me with the way they say, oh, this, that and the other. So we have seen it before, WWE. We're not silly. And it did kind of annoy me, sort of, you know. It's like even with the cruiserweights, they don't mention any past cruiserweights or long reigning champions. It's like, really? I don't get it. I don't get it why they do it like that, but it's just as annoying as hell. You know, they skip over everybody from the past. Unless it's Stone Cold or The Rock's record been broken, then they'll say about it. Yeah. But it's, again, it was a good solid match. I was shocked by Roman Reigns' actions, but if Roman Reigns is going to be heel next show, they've done it brilliantly. I doubt he's going to be heel, but then you can't play what he done as a good guy. No way you can play it off. You know, it's annoying as hell. And I get frustrated at times with the WWE because, you know, Roman Reigns is booed by the fans every show. How can you keep someone who's booed by the fans who is not liked a babyface? It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. You know, him being booed so badly, you're better off just turning him heel. Flip him heel. Please everybody. Please us fans. But as the whole ambulance situation happens, the WWE tried to throw a match or make it look like they threw a match in while they sort the stuff at the back. Where they did Heath Slater defeated Kurt Hawkins. Even though we never saw Heath Slater get the pin, we heard the ring bell, but everybody was more focused on, you know, the state of Braun Strowman. Because we saw the fire crew come down using the Jaws of Life to open up the door and everything else. Even that was done really well. Then we had Brock Lesnar taking on Samoa Joe. Now, this match annoyed me. The start of it was done really well. You know, when it came to Brock Lesnar hitting the F5 on Samoa Joe should have kicked out. You know, because they've just made it look, if you get on top of Brock, you can beat him down. But soon, as he hits you with an F5, you're out. No. I think it made Samoa Joe look weak. You know, we've seen people who have taken an F5 and kicked out. Samoa Joe should have kicked out. So then the Brock could have been, oh my God, and then had them go to and fro again. And then build it up where Brock hits another F5. And then gets the victory. It was too short. Don't agree with the way it was done. So, overall, Great Balls of Fire has been the better pay-per-view of the year. Still not up there with the best. Sorry, Slammiversary is still better than this pay-per-view. But if I have to grade it, I want to say D+. It's the best I can give it. But that was Great Balls of Fire. We are back tomorrow, 9 PM GMT, covering Raw. We'll also do a bit of 2K18 news as well tomorrow when we talk about the pre-order video for Kurt Angle. So I will see you again tomorrow at 9 PM. Thanks for watching.